Hello, my crafty friends. This is Annemarie Julian Watzel. I am a Stampin' Up demonstrator. Welcome to the Handmade Holiday Hop. I'm excited to be a part of this month-long Christmas card inspiration YouTube hop. So today I'm actually going to share with you this side card fold, but primarily showing you the technique of emboss resist along with the Bokeh technique. So this is going to be a combined card creating this background. How beautiful is that? I am highlighting the Delicate Pines stamp set with this, and stay tuned to the end. I'll have a couple of extra cards to share with you for some more additional inspiration. So let's get started. To start with, I am going to provide, well, first let me mention all of my measurements will be included in the comments below, so you will be able to have those measurements to recreate this format of a card. To create the embossed resist is the first part that we're going to show you. You will need Versamark white embossing powder, and let me just set this aside here. We're also going to use Blueberry Bushel and Petunia Pop for the colors in this. For embossing, it's always good to have this anti-static. And I think that's it to start for now. So let's get started. I am going to start stamping with the Versamark. Now this is going to be very hard for you to see. I know I am up close, but it's still actually hard because this is a clear pigment ink and you cannot see it white on white, basically clear on white. So I will be putting the embossing powder on it, but before I do that, let me use my anti-static. Just gonna rub that, and that's just gonna prevent any excess powder going where you don't want it to go. All right, so I'm gonna place this in this corner here. And then I'm gonna do one off to the side here, and then I'll put embossing powder on there, and then you'll be able to see the embossing powder. It's fun to go off of the cardstock. All right, so let me open up my white embossing powder. I always put mine in the regular container. We do have a tray that will help you pour this back in. I am currently just using a coffee filter. Embossing powder goes such a long way. So you can see, oh, I need to put a little bit more on this corner here. And a little bit down here. So you can see those images a little bit better now. So now I can see where to place my others. So let me set this aside and do some of my other stamps. This is such a beautiful stamp set. And what's fun is Stampin' Up has a variety of different snowflakes. They have masks, like stenciling, and a couple of other snowflakes. Let me do this one more. I'm going to do here, both in the corners. And just add that powder on very heavily, and you'll see where you're missing it as you're perfect. All right, and then I'm going to add some of these smaller ones in the middle. Now let's add that final embossing. And again, I'm just trying to find a place. I should probably use my tweezers, but I'm just finding a place. All right, I think that looks good. Okay, you know what? I think I'm gonna actually put one half of one down there. Yep, perfect. Okay, so let's get this back in. Now I'm going to take out my heat tool and emboss this powder. So we definitely don't want this to blow all over the place. Let's get this closed up. I will grab my tweezers for holding this because the heat gun does get very, very hot. So this is going to be a little bit noisy as well, but let's watch the magic. You'll start seeing it to get shiny, and you'll have to keep on going back. So it's really important, especially when you're doing the emboss resist, that everything gets melted. Because basically that's what we're doing. We're just melting that embossing powder on. If we don't have it melted, then the ink will not cover correctly. Yep. And we have to be careful too. I'm moving it around because if I keep it in one spot, I'll have a tendency to burn, and you don't want to do that. All right, let's take a look to see if I do need over here. I don't know if you can see that. It's very, very hard, especially again, once you have started to melt it. But I have a couple of spots, so let me get those. And a couple more. And we're good. All right, let's see if I can bring this up. If you can see that. It's probably going to be hard for you to see. All right. Let's get the blending, and then you'll also see the additional magic. I'm going to take a piece of paper towel to somewhat hold in place so my fingerprints don't cause oils, but I'm taking 2 of our blending brushes, and I am going to start with, I think I'm going to go with the lighter color on this one. I actually did the blueberry bushel on my original sample here first, but I'm going to do the petunia pop this time. Let's see how different. Every one is going to come out different. So I think I'm a little bit too close, so let's bring this down a little bit. And make sure you don't get ink on your fingers. All right, so when blending, especially on this, I always start from off the paper. So I will be going, so you get that blotchy. Another thing that you could do is probably start on the snowflake, because then you won't see that blotch. Is easy. All right, and again, hence why I'm taking this. So rub this off, and you can see the white come through. So it resists the ink. I love actually also coming from off because it highlights the edges of my cards as well. And a little bit more. All right. You could do a single color, you could do multiple colors for this technique. All right, this is very, very dark, so I really want to just do a light to add that blue in, and I'm not going to probably go all the way around. I'm just adding a little bit. Just removing, and I'm putting a fair amount of pressure on here. Just want to, the darker colors will have a tendency to add a little bit color, but that's okay. You can see that it's resisting the primary. There we go. Just gonna rub some more over here, get this all blended in. There we go. Now we're going to do the bokeh technique on top of this, and this is going to actually add a little bit more white on top of that. So to do the bokeh technique, what you need is to cut out from paper, cardstock, scrap piece of paper, 3 different circles. I actually just grabbed the circles from my Stylish Shapes dies, so I did the 3 smallest ones inside here and cut that out. So I pre-cut that, and you will need white pigment ink. So Stampin' Up! Does include or have this white pigment ink pad. They call it the white, but it's actually the pad with no ink on it. And what comes with it is, where did I put it? Oh, here it is. The little white re-inker. So I've already inked up my pad, and I'm going to set these aside because I don't need those. And we're just going to place the circles around, and this is where I am going to use this. You can use a regular dauber. I like this size though because it's a little bit bigger, gives me more coverage. So you can hardly even see that there's ink on there, but all right. So let me actually go in a little bit closer for you guys to see how this works. And you have to hold this down pretty firmly because you don't want your circles to move. And you can see that there. Can you see that? It is a little bit shiny. It actually brings some shimmer to the card. And then usually for the bokeh effect, you want the circles to overlap each other. So we have that large one and then the small one. So I am going to do another, but they all don't have to be touching. So just know that. And then let's just do this little one over here. When I move in, I forget that I have to move things up. All right. It's okay because I didn't really start yet. So you can just do that pouncing, and as long as you've got it held. All right. And Again, overlapping it, and it's also actually going off the side of the card. So let me just see. I have lots here, but this section needs to have something. So let me do the medium and the small. I'm going to do the medium down here. And then add that small one in. Okay, so I'm going to bring this up close. Hopefully you can see that. Yeah, you can definitely see that shimmering. That is bringing in that bokeh effect with those beautiful, beautiful snowflakes. Okay, so let's put this away, and now I'm going to let this dry a little bit because the pigment ink is a little wet, and we will assemble the card. So I have scored this at 5.5, and then at 4 and I think it's 4 3/4. Hold on. Scored at 4 1/4 and 5.5. Okay, let me actually bring this back out. All right, so let's bring in our handy dandy tool. So I have already pre-scored it, but I am just going to show you guys again. So this is at 5.5, and then at 4 1/4. All right. Can you see those? Probably not. All right, so now I am just going to take my bone folder and fold that card in. And I'm going to fold this back, although it's not going to stay back, but I am going to fold that back. And what we're going to do is we are going to tape the inside so this stays tight, okay? You can use glue or whatever your favorite adhesive is. All right. Now what I'm going to do just to prep, I am putting ribbon around here. So I am going to use these are like tag punches, and there's 3 in a set. So this has just a little circle, and then it has the little slit one. This all comes in a set, and then another one that has, but I am just trying to put a little notch in here. So I will show you. Just going to take, before that, let's measure this out. And it's at 5/8 that I'm going to measure this out. Let me grab my paper trimmer to measure better for you guys. All right, so here is 1, 2, 3, 4. Right here is the center at 5/8. I'm going to turn that around and do that again. Okay. You won't see those pencil marks because I will be punching them out. So finding that, I'll bring this up closer. I'm just going to do half of the circle. See that little notch? Let's do the other side. Perfect. All right. So now we're going to put our pieces down. And again, these measurements will be listed in the comments. And that goes right below those, below and above those notches. And I'm just centering that in there. And then this is going to go here on that side. And that will be centered also, lining that up with this side here. Okay, and then while we're still waiting for that to dry just a little bit, we'll go ahead and do the inside. So what I'm doing for the inside here is I took one of the snowflakes and cut it out on my centerpiece that's going to overlay the inside of my card. But I want to add some color, so I am going to add a little bit of the fresh freesia ink. Oh, no, actually it's not fresh freesia, it's Petuna Pop. Sorry, getting my colors mixed up. And again, just want to make sure I want that down in my bottom left corner. So just lightly gonna add kind of gives that dreamy kind of look, right? There we go. Make sure that I have enough adhesive here on this corner. I'm taking out my silicone mat, and I can run right over there because the adhesive does not stick to this mat. So when you're using a dot runner, this is a great tool to have. We are almost done. Just centering that up. Let's bring that inside here. And let's also stamp our sentiment. And I am using the sentiment from the Snowflake Kisses. So love this. It has a bunch of different sentiments. And this one is, may the chill of winter be warmed by love and friendship. And I'm going to do that with the blueberry bushel. And just going to center that straight down. There we go. Always stamp off my excess and then clean it with my chamois, which I have off to the side here. So. And then I'm going to embellish it. So I love these sequins. They are called the two-tone sparkle gems. So I'm just going to take one of the gems and put it in the center there. All right. And now let's do this piece. So here we have to trim this down. So my biggest decision is which side do I want to trim it down? Do I want to do that way or that way? So I am going to trim it this side down, and I am doing that, I believe, 7/8 of an inch. Let's get my paper trimmer out here. Hopefully you can see that. I am cutting that down to 7/8 of an inch. And when you're lining this up, you will want to line it up so that it kind of matches up with what you just trimmed off. And put some adhesive on this piece here. Nope. See, I'm already doing it backwards here. Here it is. Look how gorgeous that is. It's so, so pretty. But we're going to still add some embellishments, and we're going to add some ribbon to this. So I think this ribbon is retired, or it's on the clearance section, but it's this very, very fine silver. And I am just going to cut a bunch of this off. And get it in those notches there. And it just helps it kind of in place when I am tying. I am the worst bow tire, though. I am going to tell you that right now. So hopefully this won't take me that long to do that. Come on, come on, come on. I always wish I had somebody to hold those down for me. All right, let's shape this up. That's why I always do extra long. Actually, I want it to be a little bit tighter. So to make that tighter, I am going to make a knot. Don't mess this up for me. I'm going to start over, guys, with my ribbon. I told you I am the worst at bow making or tying bows. Should have left it alone. The first one was fine. Make that a little bit tighter. All right. Right, and then I'm going to take a glue dot. Where am I? Glue. Oh, they're here because we're going to need them again. So let me trim this down, but we will need the glue dot. Oh, they're right in front of me. Isn't that always the case? Just taking the mini glue dot. All right. Forgive my bow. Sorry. Not my expertise. But again, we all are human. We all make, or all have our challenges, I should say. So I took this again from the Snowflake Kisses, and this is the Warmest Thoughts. And then again, I took 2 snowflakes using white glitter and the blue glimmer paper. I believe it is Blueberry Bushel. It looks very close to Blueberry Bushel. And I want to put it on here. This is the one way that I feel glitter sticks on glitter, right? Is using, oh, I didn't need to put it there. All right. All right, put some foam tape. So find that perfect spot that you want to put this on. Add that here, and then again I am going to add, and then I'm going to actually add to some of the snowflakes here. So, and there we have it. Sorry, it took me a little bit longer than I anticipated, but here is the beautiful side fold card. And let me show you just a couple of other cards for inspiration. Here is another fun fold card using the alphabet dies and silver foil paper. But again, this paper, I did not make this, but it is the Bokeh paper using the Peaceful Days. Then here is a fun little treat box, holiday treat box, using the Friends family. So they got the snowman, they have the Santa Claus, and I forgot what the third one is, but I added a little bit of a foam ball there. And again, treats can go inside here, or actually napkin holder if you want to use it as a place setting at your holiday table. And then here is another one. So this one, I did create that bokeh effect using that same technique. This is with cloud cover and I'm still getting used to all the names of our colors, and Lost Lagoon. So again, very fun. Again, here's also the glimmer paper that came with the same pack of the blueberry. Used white iridescent pearls on here. And then I used, this one I'm really loving, I used the Snowflake Kisses. It does have dies that come with it. And I love these dies. So I used this for that corner, and then that up here. But look at, you have a whole snowflake to do a background too. Very, very fun die set. And again, the stamp set just has all of the sentiments, but it does have a coordinating die. Like I said, lots of different snowflakes. So again, thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to watch Katie and Roseanne. Those are the two next that are showing up today on the Hop. So appreciate you watching. Enjoy the Holiday Hop, and I'll see you back later this month. Thanks so much. Have a good one.